Okay, so imagine like walking into a business and instead of people like running around with apps and stuff, it's all these intelligent agents doing the work, kind of like a sci-fi movie, right?
It is a pretty radical shift, and to really get it, we have to, understand the problems with how businesses use tech now. Like for years, companies have been using applications for everything, and it's led to like data silos, slow processes, and just makes it hard to keep up with change.
Yeah, it's like trying to run a marathon with your legs tied together, right? So how do these, intelligent agents get around all that? I mean, are they like digital employees working in the background or something?
That's a great way to think about it. Yeah, they're not just like bits of AI sprinkled into apps. They're independent and they can work directly with data, make decisions, and even take action, like a skilled team working behind the scenes. The really interesting part is they're structured kind of like how humans think.
Okay, so break it down for me. How does an AI agent think, so to speak?
Well, first, they have this thing called a perception layer. It's how they take in information, like their senses. They can process tons of data, text images, sensor readings, anything that gives them a real-time picture of what's happening.
So they're constantly observing and gathering data, just like we do. But how do they make sense of it all?
That's where the decision-making core comes in. It combines rule-based logic, which is basically a set of instructions with the power of machine learning. One type they use is called reinforcement learning, which is pretty cool.
Reinforcement learning. So is that how they learn, by doing?
Exactly. Like if you're teaching a dog a trick, you give them a treat when they do it right, and they learn from their mistakes. Reinforcement learning is similar. The agent takes actions, sees how it goes, and uses that feedback to get better at making decisions.
So they're always getting smarter and more efficient. But what happens once they've made a decision? How do they actually put it into practice?
That's the action and learning layer. That's where the magic happens. The agent puts the decision into action and then learns from the outcome. Did it work? If not, why not? This constant feedback loop is how they adapt and improve over time.
So it's not a set it and forget it thing. They're constantly learning and evolving from real-world experience.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Are there any companies out there actually using these AI agents effectively?
Oh, tons. There are some really cool case studies that show how AI agents are making a real difference. Like Burberry, the luxury retailer, they implemented a conversational AI assistant on Facebook Messenger to connect better with customers and drive sales.
So they're using AI to improve the customer experience. Did it work?
It was a huge success. They saw way more engagement from buyers, a big jump in online sales, and they were able to offer that personal touch that builds loyalty. It's a great example of how AI agents can directly increase revenue and make customers happier.
That's impressive. Are there other industries where we're seeing these agents in action?
Definitely. The automotive industry is another great one. This car dealership network deployed this sophisticated web messaging system powered by generative AI across 195 dealerships, 14 different brands, and a crazy 79 vehicle editions.
Wow, that's a lot of information for even humans to handle, let alone AI. What were they hoping to achieve with this system?
They wanted to standardize how they interact with customers and make sure they could answer super specific questions. Like someone might want to know about a very particular feature on a certain model year of a car. This AI system can handle that level of detail, no problem.
It sounds like a game changer for customer service. How did it go?
Super well. The AI could navigate their complex product lineup easily and gave customers accurate support quickly. It shows how AI agents can manage massive, complicated operations.
So we've got luxury retail and the automotive industry both using AI agents to streamline things and make customers happy. Any other standout examples?
The beauty brand La Mer is a really interesting one. They created a specialized skincare advisor that their customers love. It's not just a simple chatbot. It's been in development for 7 years and has had thousands of training inputs.
7 years of development. Wow. What makes the skincare advisor so special?
It's incredibly personalized and interactive. It's got 5 main interactive features and suggests products based on what each customer needs. It's like having a digital skincare expert on call 24/7.
I bet their customers love that personal touch. Has La Mer gotten good feedback on this advisor?
It's been fantastic. Lots of clients give it top marks for quality meeting deadlines, cost management, even their willingness to recommend it to others. They really hit it out of the park with this AI agent.
These case studies really show how much of an impact AI agents are already having across different industries. And these are just a few examples. It feels like the possibilities for AI agent applications are endless as we move forward.
That's the exciting part. We're only just starting to see what agent-centric architecture can do. As AI models improve and we get better at using them, we're going to see some really innovative and transformative applications. It's going to be wild.
It's definitely an exciting time to be following all this. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a closer look at the architecture itself in part 2 of our deep dive into this topic.
So, as we talked about in part 1, businesses have relied on this hierarchical structure to manage their tech and data.
Yeah, that classic pyramid, right? With infrastructure and data at the bottom, apps on top, and then people at the very top trying to make sense of it all through those apps.
Right. And it worked okay, but it's starting to fall apart. It creates these silos, leads to fragmented processes, and it's just really hard for businesses to adapt quickly in today's world.
So how does this agent-centric model fix those problems? What does the new structure look like?
Well, instead of humans having to switch between apps all the time, moving data from one system to another, imagine if we had AI agents doing all that for us.
Okay, so these digital agents are taking care of the boring stuff. What would that look like in practice?
These AI agents, they can access and work with company data directly. They can handle the logic of business processes, manage workflows, and even finish tasks without much human help.
So it's not just automating simple tasks, they're actually taking on more complex roles within a company.
Exactly. And by doing that, they get rid of the slowdowns and inefficiencies of the old application-centric model. It's like giving the whole business a smoother, more responsive and interconnected nervous system.
I'm starting to see how this could be a big deal. It's not just about speed, it's about completely changing how businesses work and make decisions.
It's as big of a change as digital transformation was a few years ago. Remember how companies first focused on individual apps, but then realized they needed a more comprehensive architectural approach?
So it sounds like we're at a similar point with AI. Just adding AI features to existing apps won't be enough. We need a bigger vision.
Exactly. We need to rethink the entire enterprise architecture from the perspective of intelligent agents. If companies don't do this, they're going to miss out on the real power of AI.
This is making me rethink how I work. But what about the practical side? How hard is it for companies to actually set up this agent-centric model?
It's not easy. There are definitely challenges. One of the most important things is data maturity. AI agents need good quality, organized data to work properly.
So garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. Companies need to have solid data management practices before they start using AI agents. Things like integrated data lakes, well-organized data warehouses, and knowledge graphs become really important.
What about the technology itself? I imagine these AI agents need a lot of computing power.
You're right. We're talking powerful GPUs, specialized AI hardware, and cloud resources that can scale. It's a big investment, both upfront and for ongoing maintenance.
So there's a lot of prep work before companies can fully go agent-centric. What about the people? How will they interact with these AI agents?
That's a big question, and the answer will probably change as technology develops. We'll probably see a mix of interfaces, smartphones, voice commands, augmented reality, maybe even brain-computer interfaces someday.
It's pretty crazy to think about how our workspaces could change. What about companies dedicated to helping businesses through this transition? Will we see more specialized service providers emerge?
It's definitely possible. We might see agentic integrators popping up along with the traditional system integrators. They'll be the ones who can guide businesses through the process of implementing and managing these agent-centric architectures.
It seems like a whole new industry could spring up around this tech door. Of course, we can't forget about the ethical and regulatory side. As AI agents become more independent, how do we make sure they're transparent, fair, and accountable?
Those are crucial issues. Organizations like the CTPA are already working on regulations for automated decision-making systems. They're looking at things like algorithmic bias and consumer protection.
It's a balancing act, finding the power of AI and using it responsibly. What about in industries where the stakes are really high, like healthcare or finance?
In those high-risk areas, companies might be more careful. Instead of giving AI agents full autonomy, they could use them to support human decisions or to optimize specific processes.
So it's about finding the right balance between AI assistance and human oversight, depending on the industry and the risks involved.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all. Each company needs to carefully consider the benefits and risks of different levels of AI autonomy.
This has been a really interesting conversation. It feels like we're at the beginning of a huge technological shift. But before we get too carried away, let's look at some companies that are already using AI agents successfully in the real world in part 3 of our deep dive. All right, so we've talked about what this agent-centric architecture is and why it matters, but now I really want to see it in action. Can you give us some real-world examples of companies using these AI agents to make a difference?
Well, we already mentioned a couple like Burberry and their conversational AI on Facebook Messenger.
Right. They used it to improve customer experience and boost sales. But I'd love to hear more about how it actually worked.
Yeah, it was a huge success. They saw more customers engaging, a noticeable increase in sales online, and they were able to give that personal touch that makes people loyal to the brand. It's a perfect example of how AI agents can directly impact revenue and make customers happier at the same time.
That's really impressive. But I'm always a little wary of marketing hype. Did they have any hard numbers to back up those claims?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Burberry said that people who talked to their AI assistant were way more likely to buy something than those who didn't. And they had fewer customer service calls because the AI could handle a lot of common questions and requests on its own.
So it's a win-win for Burberry and their customers. What about more complex scenarios? Are there any examples of AI agents being used in other industries?
Let's go back to the automotive industry for a second. Remember that car dealership network that put a generative AI system in 195 dealerships?
Yeah, the one with 14 different brands and 79 different models. I can't even imagine a human sales team keeping track of all that.
Exactly. That's where AI really shines. They wanted to streamline customer interactions and make sure they could answer super specific questions about their product.
And how did that go?
The results were great. The AI system could handle all the complex details of their cars and give customers the information they needed quickly and accurately. Their customer satisfaction scores went up and their response times went down.
So they improved the customer experience and made things more efficient. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of an AI agent being used for something besides customer service or sales, like something more specialized?
The beauty brand La Mer is a really interesting one. They developed this skincare advisor that's become super popular with their customers.
You mentioned that earlier. It's not just a simple chatbot, though, right?
No, not at all. They've been working on this AI agent for 7 years, and it's had thousands of training inputs. It has 5 key interactive features and recommends products based on the individual needs of each customer. It's like having a skincare expert available 24/7.
7 years is a long time to spend on one project. What were some of the challenges they faced?
One of the biggest ones was making sure the AI agent could accurately understand individual skin concerns and then give advice that was both effective and safe. They had to train the AI on a huge amount of data about skin types, product ingredients, and potential allergies.
So they were dealing with a lot of very specific information. How did they make sure the AI's recommendations were accurate and safe?
They worked really closely with dermatologists and skincare experts throughout the entire process. They were constantly fine-tuning the AI's algorithms and incorporating feedback from real users.
So it was a real collaboration between human experts and AI.
That's really cool. What's the feedback been like from customers? People love it. They say it's like having a personal skincare consultant. They're really happy with the product recommendations and love that they can get expert advice anytime they need it.
These case studies are really inspiring. It's clear that AI agents are already having a big impact in all kinds of industries.
Yeah.
And like you said before, this is just the beginning.
Absolutely. As AI gets smarter and we get better at using it, we'll see even more amazing and transformative applications. The possibilities are really endless.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot in this deep dive, from the fundamental changes in enterprise technology to real-world examples and the challenges that come with all this. But one thing's for certain, the rise of AI agents is changing the way businesses operate in a huge way. So if you could design an AI agent for your job, what would you have it do? What excites you about this new world of work, and what worries you? Let us know. Thanks for joining us for episode 1 of our deep dive into the rise of the sentient systems, agent-centric enterprise architecture. We'll be back soon with more insights and explorations into this fascinating topic.